Hello, it's an at-home exclusive with 104.9 DX. It's Kev. If you're watching this later on, I hope the future is treating you better than it is right now. So what's up, Chris? How you doing? It's Chris Daughtry.
Hey, how are you, man? What's going on?
Good, man. Welcome to my living room. And
Welcome to
looks like you're in
my
yours as well.
welcome to my office. Yeah.
You got your bodyguard back there?
Got my bodyguard Deadpool back here. You never can be too safe these days.
Yeah, for sure. So I like your hairstyle, first of all.
Thank you. Likewise. Likewise.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way to go. It's funny. Back when you first started getting famous, I started shaving my head around that same time, and a lot of people thought that I was just trying to look like you because they knew I liked your music, but at the same time, it was like, no, I was balding and I looked terrible, so I just shaved it off.
We come from a generation that were probably all obsessed with their hair, but they saw the mistakes and the shortcomings of their forefathers and go, if I start to lose it, I will not do the comb over. I will not try. I'm just getting rid of this shit.
Right. I don't want to look like
so
my principal. Yeah.
It came to me earlier than I expected. I was 21 when I started noticing, like, I think we got a situation here. And I remember one night before a gig, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can swear on this or not, but
no, yeah, go ahead. The internet is not controlled by the FCC yet,
awesome.
So you're good.
I was like, fuck it. I'm taking a razor, and I remember my wife showed up to the gig and was like, "What did you do?"
Oh no.
and now I remember trying to grow it out back in like 2010 or something. I thought I was gonna, relive the old days and let's see what's happening up here. And she was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop. The fans said that too.
You got the right head for it though, man. I kind of got like this Michael Clark Duncan head that I'm dealing with, but
see,
you got the
I don't know, man. We all have our issues with our own self, and I feel like I have a dent in the middle. Makes my head look like a peanut. So
I got that too, man. I've got that hump in the front. Yeah, I've been dealing with that myself, man. So
it is what it is.
So it's nice to meet you. It's nice to have you aboard.
You as well.
By the way,
thank you.
If you're watching this live and you have questions for Chris, you can post this in the comments, and we can get to those later. So when was the last time that you got to spend this much time at home?
I think it was like 14 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, no joke. I have not been home this long consecutively for at least 14 years. It's been crazy. It took some getting used to, for sure. You don't realize how much of your identity is wrapped up in being on the road and touring, and then you take that from us and we're like, who are we? Who am I?
Yeah, so you're a dad, right? You got kids.
Yeah, I got kids, and they are they are at the age where I have 3 little ones. I have 5 total, but three that are in the house, and they all want something at the same time, and it's a lot. The twins are 9, the youngest one is 5, and yeah, it's all consuming. So I have a new, obviously I knew my wife had a much more difficult job than I did, but now I've witnessed it firsthand, and to the extent of full capacity. Like I've seen it all now. It's not like I come home for the weekend and goes, your life sucks, I get to leave and go back on the road. Right. I've had to sit in this with her, and I have more respect for her than I ever have in my life.
So are the kids happy that dad's home? Or are they kind of like, go away?
Yeah. No, they're it's just great. Like, it's been I've had more time with them since they were born. Like, since they were born, I've been on the road. So yeah, they're great. They're super happy that I don't have to leave. And when I was doing the virtual tour, they started to get a little annoyed about that. And I'm like, guys, I'm literally just going down the street. I'm coming right back home. I'll be here when you wake up in the morning. It's not like I'm leaving for weeks.
Yeah,
So
that's interesting. I wanted to talk about that because I saw that you were doing that, and it's been kind of interesting to see what artists have been doing during this
right,
whole crazy 2020 to kind of keep the rust off and still be able to do what you guys love to do. And so you did
right.
the Live from Home tour, which I thought was a great idea. Can you talk a little bit about what that was all about?
Yeah, it was. I like I said, I didn't know what to do with myself. I needed to perform. I wanted to get back out there, but obviously that wasn't a possibility. So we had this idea to do like an acoustic tour where we had done a stage it, we had seen other people do those, and people were doing like Facebook stuff, but I wanted to see if we could do like a proper tour where we're going different cities, and then my manager was like, what if we tried to partner with these smaller venues? And so we kicked that idea out there, and the venues were super pumped about it. And we realized how important those venues are, not only to the community but the people who work there, the artists like myself that need a place to play, and nobody's working right now. So this it was our small way of helping the music industry, and obviously the fans had everything to do with that, with their
Right.
tips and their generosity as well. So thanks and kudos to the fans for making that possible. We just finished it up recently. It was great. It was a lot of fun. It took a little bit to get used to because we're so used to yeah, I didn't realize how much we depended on the crowd to give us energy. And I'm like,
Right.
it should be it's like it should be the other way around. We should be cultivating that energy for ourselves to give them something to be excited about. So it kind of made me have to kind of rethink how I approach performing.
Sure.
Especially when you finish a song and you hear crickets in the corner, and some dude farting over there that's working the lights, and so it
It's
was
got to be
it
a
took
little
some
bit
getting used to.
disheartening at first. Yeah, for
At
sure.
first, it was the most awkward thing we'd ever done. Me and my guitar player were like, so like, wait, hope everybody's good over there. I don't know how y'all do. It was so
Right.
weird.
Yeah, I think a
Um,
lot of people are getting used to it. I know a lot of comedians who have been doing like virtual, like Zoom stand-up comedy shows, and I can't fathom not getting that instant
I
feedback that you
was
need.
I was talking to my buddy Dane Cook. Look at me dropping names. Watch your feet. Watch your feet. I was actually just talking about that with him recently, because I was talking to him about doing this virtual tour, and he was like, dude, I just don't I know comedians are doing that, but like I can't, it's not my thing. I have to have the bodies in the room, and I get that with comedy. Like that seems like a very tough thing. You don't know where they're reacting, and sometimes that could kind of determine the pace of the joke,
Sure.
and that just seems like a very difficult thing to do online. But kudos to the ones that are doing it and making it work. It takes a
Yeah.
special talent.
Yeah, and on your end, it's got to be weird, if you bust a high note and you hear nothing. Usually, like in a stadium, if you hit that high note, you hear that crowd with you,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
high note, it's got to be weird. You're like, did I even hit that note? How did that even like it? Yeah.
On the flip side of that, when I hit the worst note ever, there's no one there looking at me, so I can kind of forget it happened.
Yeah, you heard it here
I'm just
first.
gonna pretend
Even
that didn't happen, folks.
even Daughtry hits sour notes once in a while.
Oh, dude, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? There was quite a few. I came down with some like head chest cold, and no, it wasn't COVID, but it's like right in the summertime. I'm like, it's 90 degrees out. Why am I getting sick? And
Right.
and every night until that was over, I was like waiting for that one moment.
You just tune
But
down a half step. Nobody will
yeah,
notice.
yeah, exactly.
Nobody will notice.
Like all the '90s guys do.
Right. World
Yeah,
on
we
Fire.
live it. We live in half step down.
That's right. World on Fire is the latest single. Did very well. Our listener voting feature, Hit It or Quit It, at thexrockford.com.
Yes,
95% saying hit it. So the fans are behind you here in Rockford. So how's the response been elsewhere?
it's been overwhelmingly positive. This is the record I've been wanting to make for a very long time, and I'm without going down a long rabbit hole of reasons why, um, I'm independent now, so I get to call all the shots.
Sure.
And this is the record I've been wanting to make for a very long time. And working with Scott Stevens and Marty Fredrickson, guys that I've been writing with for many records now. And I felt like they just really get me as a rock artist and understand that side of me more than anyone. And we weren't really thinking about, we weren't trying to please a format or radio or try to write a hit. We were just like, what do we want to write? And this was back in January. Australia was on fire. There was certainly no shortage of police brutality and racial injustice even then. And so all of that was getting under our skin, and we were just like, damn, dude, the world's on fire. And
Right.
we were just like, well, there's the song title. Like it, and we just
Right.
started writing ideas down. And this was before COVID, before George Floyd and amongst others. And it was just weird. Fast forward to March, and we're all scratching our heads like, we had no idea this was coming.
Right.
And it was very evident that this is the first single. So we're
Yeah.
super proud of it.
California is on fire too,
Yeah, I
and with
mean,
the riots.
it's ridiculous. The riot. So it still tracks. It's just a different set of problems, and we just felt like we really said something. And it came straight from the heart, and we felt like we had something special. And we shot the video, and the fans have just been. It's incredible. It feels good to be back in the rock world. It feels good to be giving the fans something that they're loving, and we feel like we got some more coming where that came from.
That's great. Yeah, that's always the next
Yeah.
question when we talk about the single is when can we expect an album?
Well, we had started the record back in October, November of last year, and we had a lot written for it. And I'd gotten a lot done on my part before we were going to bring the guys in, and then COVID hit, and so everybody was on lockdown. Half the band is we got one member on the West Coast, we got one member far East Coast, and then a few of us are in Nashville, and it's hard to get everybody together. So with World on Fire, we sent the track to all the band, and they just recorded their parts at home respectively, and I mean, thank God it worked out, because it could have easily went the other way, but everybody did such a killer job, and we've done that on one more song since. So we definitely will have another single out before the record's out. The record, we got to get back in the studio, hopefully in the coming months, and get back to recording. We've still got a bunch written that we haven't recorded yet. But I feel like if I had to describe what we've got so far, I would just say that World on Fire is a good reference point.
Yeah, and you mentioned the music video. I watched that a little bit earlier today on YouTube, and you kind of got like a post-apocalyptic superhero thing going on in that video.
Yeah.
So I imagine you had something to do with that as a superhero fan.
I had everything to do with the concept, and that's been the other fun thing about being independent. I've really just had the opportunity to fully immerse myself into this work with the music direction and the video, and even as far as the wardrobe was concerned. And it's just been fun to look at this thing come to fruition that I've had in my head for a very long time now. I've always wanted to kind of do a video that maybe connects to another one, and they kind of have a kind of a common thread to all of them. And so it got me thinking, and we did the whole to be continued thing. which kind of, was kind of a throwback to all the old 80s cartoons growing up,
Uh-huh.
and you're like, son of a bitch, I gotta wait till next week.
Right. Right. And
And
it sparked a lot of comments, a lot of speculation in the comment section. Oh, is it going to be a concept album? You got people talking. So
you know
it's
what?
cool.
I won't answer that right now, but I will say that there is a lot that's coming. And I couldn't. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I've always been fascinated with talented people because talented people are usually multi-talented. There's very few people who do just one thing. So I'm always interested in what artists are doing when they're not doing the thing that we really know them for. And
Yeah.
turns out you are a comic book artist.
Yes. Yes. I'm a wannabe comic book artist.
Well,
I
you had
don't.
a cover, right? You did a Batman
Yeah,
cover, didn't you?
I've done 3 covers so far. I've done Batman number 50 for DC. I did Youngblood reboot number 1 for Image with Rob Liefeld. The Batman cover I did with my hero Jim Lee, and then I did a Spider-Man cover for Red Goblin number 1 this last year with Ron Garney over at Marvel. So I've been very fortunate enough that each time I've worked with legends in the field that have kind of been, in a way, a mentor to me in that respect. It's also interesting how many comic book artists and people in the comic world that are also musicians. Like it's so weird how that those formats tend to cross paths a lot. But yeah, it's it's been a dream of mine since way before I discovered music or felt like I had any kind of singing talent or whatever. Um,
Can we show some of your work?
yeah, yeah. I
I,
think I posted something recently on
I got
there. Like,
something here if you don't mind. Check that out.
yeah,
Jim Lee posted that on Twitter. That's yours, right?
yeah. That I
It's
did that.
beautiful.
It was kind of it's a little '89 homage for the Michael Keaton era.
Okay, yeah. Good. It's good stuff. And
Um,
we do have that
and we got
cover as
some,
well.
yeah, and then that's Jim Lee's work, the painting, and then that right over here is a piece that me and him collaborated. That was actually our first piece that we did together. Um, but yeah, I don't do it nearly enough as I'd like, but as much as I'd like. So it always takes me forever. Those cats are like whipping out pages a day.
Right.
But I'd love to do something in that world, a little more frequently.
For sure. Yeah, I mean it's so crazy because when you are a performer, I mean, especially early on, you have a lot of time during the day. Like when you're doing tours, you have a lot of time during the day, and it's always good
Yeah.
to have something that you can do to kind of fill that creative void. When you're not
Yeah,
creating,
that's that's a lot easier on the road than it is in the home setting.
I bet.
Um, home setting, there's never a shortage of things to do. I think 24 hours a day we've got dishes and laundry going. We have so many kids in this house, but yeah, I would love to. That's one thing that I miss about being on the road. You got all the day to yourself, and
Right.
nobody needs you for anything until they do. But
For sure.
yeah. Anyway, I digress.
No, you're good, man. We got a little bit of time left. Mind if we take a listener question?
Let's do it.
Sure. We got Tyler. He commented on Facebook. He said, been a fan since the 2006 album debut and hearing There and Back again for the first time. How long did the first album take to make? That's from Tyler.
Hey, Tyler. Thank you so much. It was one of my favorite songs on that record. And I wrote that with Brent Smith from Shinedown, which was a fun experience. That album, I can tell you because the summer the summer after, or the summer that of the year that I got kicked off of, or that season ended, we ended up doing the Idol tour, which was in like July of 2006, and we had to have the record out in November of 2006. So we started recording and writing that record while I was on the road for the Idol tour. So I was every day off. I was either in a hotel room doing a demo, or writing, or flying back to LA to record the record. It was so fast and furious, that I was not there all the time when the studio musicians at the time were recording the record. I was there a few days, then I'd leave out, I'd come back. So we had to get that thing done in like 4 or 5 months. It was quick.
Yeah, and thinking of way back then, I remember reading this, and I don't know if this was true or not. Was Fuel trying to get you to be their singer for a little while?
Yeah. So they the night I sang Hemorrhage on Idol, I remember the show ending, and I'm walking, and we, by the way, we hardly ever saw the judges outside of what you guys saw on TV. And this was before it went to the big stage. It was like the second week of that season, of being in Hollywood performing on the stage. They started with a small stage, and then as you progressed, you got to the bigger stage. So
Right.
this was small, and we were right near the judges table, and the show's ending, and Randy Jackson walks up to me, which I thought was kind of cool. I'm like, oh snap, Randy's coming up to talk. And he was like, hey dog, my boys in Fuel are looking at you, man. You know, I probably shouldn't be telling you this because I know you can't do anything under contract with the show, but just know that people are paying attention. I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then I actually got a call from Carl Bell from Fuel. I'm trying to remember the chain of events, and I ended up going to the audition, not to audition, but to
Right.
just hang out with them, and I actually sang with them at the audition just for fun,
How
which
could you
was
resist,
probably,
right?
well, they asked me to, and I was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I had a buddy that was auditioning, so he probably hated my guts for getting up there and singing in front of him, but it was a fun experience, but it was never like on the table. Like like from the get go, I was like, first of all, I can't because of the contract at the
Right.
time. Second of all, your singer's still alive, man. Like you know what I mean? Like
Right. Right.
I don't want to be the guy to replace the other guy. You guys have your own catalog. I want to do my own thing. So it was. I've stayed friends with those guys. Actually, I haven't talked to them in forever, but it was cool. It was flattering, and considering I didn't even know if I wanted to go on American Idol at first, it was very validating when one of my favorite rock bands at the time was kind of noticing what I was doing. I was like, oh shit, I must be doing something
Yeah.
right. So
How
that
did
was really cool.
how did Stevie Wonder feel about you covering the Chili Peppers version of Higher Ground?
Well, it's still his song, and
Sure.
and
Yeah.
the Chili Peppers wouldn't have had that awesome rendition without it. So,
Right.
and I was definitely channeling the soul of Stevie Wonder more so than the vocals of Anthony Kiedis. So, as a rock dude, I of course wanted that version of it
Right.
instrumentally, but um, you can't help but want to sing those runs and
Uh-huh.
those incredible melody lines like Stevie. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and he kind of coached you that week, I remember, didn't he?
Yeah,
He
that
had you
was
laying
that.
on your back in weird positions. It was kind of cool.
No, that was Andrea Bocelli.
Oh, was it? Was
Um,
it? Okay.
yeah, the Stevie Wonder was crazy, man. I couldn't believe like I'm sitting on the bench at the piano with Stevie, and I'm just like, what is my life right now? It was so crazy.
I imagine that's got to be just a crazy whirlwind. I can't even imagine going through something like American Idol or any of those
Yeah,
shows where they throw you up there. They're like, you got this many days to put something together. Good luck. You got the whole country
yeah.
watching.
Good
Yeah, no
luck.
pressure.
No
And
kidding.
a lot of people feel like you got dicked over in that a little bit. I was one of
Yeah,
those people, but as you've proven, you don't need to win that show. You
I
don't.
I am very grateful for how everything turned out. I've never once thought about what if it happened, what if it went the other way, because there's no point. But
Right.
but yeah, I've just never wondered. I always felt like this is exactly what needed to happen for me. So I couldn't be happier. So it's funny to still hear how upset people were about it. Um, and I was one of them out the gate, at first,
Sure.
because you get in a race and you're like, oh, I just want to, do well. But then you get close to the finish line, and of course, there's a part of you going, I'm gonna win this damn thing, and then it doesn't happen, and there's a brief second of like, oh shit. But then you realize, wait a minute, you actually didn't want to win this thing in the beginning. You wanted to just, like, I wanted to use it as an audition for all the record labels that I couldn't get in front of at the time.
Right. And it seems like it worked out for you.
Worked out great.
For sure. Let this be in 2020, as we head into November, let this be a reminder of what happens when you don't vote.
Yeah,
This guy right here.
You gotta vote.
Chris Daughtry, thank you so much for giving us
Oh man,
half
thank
hour of
you
your
so
time
much.
today.
Absolutely. It was great talking to you.
Of course, you can hear the latest single, World on Fire, on 104.9 The X every single day. You can also check out Chris on Twitter, Chris_Daughtry, and DaughtryOfficial.com. Thanks so much, man. We appreciate it.
And at Chris Daughtry on Instagram.
At Chris Daughtry on Instagram. Follow him on the gram as well.
On
Appreciate
the
it, Chris.
gram. Thank you so
very
much, man. Be well.